good manufacturing practices, hygienic practices, and microbiological analysis of selected milk tea shops in Ligao City. We have here Honey Joy M. Macalia from Bicol University, Polangi Campus.
Good day, everyone. My name is Hanjan Makala, and I'm from Bicol University, Polangi Campus. And for today, I am going to present our research paper entitled Current Food Manufacturing Practices, CGMP, Hygienic Practices and Microbiological Analysis of Selected Milk Shops in Ligao City. For the introduction, current food manufacturing practices and hygienic practices are key factors to attain food safety. CGMP seeks to establish hygienic and sanitary conditions in food establishments and manufacturing to eliminate food contamination caused by microorganisms through cross-contamination. Implementing laws in the country mandated by the Department of Health, such as CGMP and Code on Sanitation, strengthens the food safety system of the country, from personnel who handles the food up to the working environment and sanitation. In Ligao City, Milky Shops is a new venture of food business. Since it is new, there were no past studies to evaluate its current food manufacturing practices, hygienic practices, and microbiological analysis to know if they are following the implementing laws to ensure food safety in every food establishment. For the objectives of the study, the first objective is to determine the demographic profile of standalone milk tea business owners and staffs in terms of age, gender, educational attainment, and years of business. For the second objective is to evaluate the hygienic practices of standalone milk shops in terms of CGMP in handling of products, personal hygiene, proper storage facility, waste handling disposal, source of water, proper ventilation, workplace sanitation, cleaning and sanitizing of food equipment, and environmental conditions. For the third objective is to determine the microbiological analysis of standalone milk shops in terms of aerobic plate count, APC, and coliform count. Fourth objective is to compare the data of the researchers and respondents' perception on CGMP and hygienic practices of milk shops in Ligao City. And for the fifth objective is to identify measures which may be proposed to improve food safety and hygienic practices among milk shops in Ligao City. For the methodology, the study utilized the descriptive qualitative assessment research design and the observational survey method. For the statistical tool, we used the weighted mean and the 7-point hedonic scale. Let's go now to the results of the study. For the first objective, which is the demographic profile of milk tea business owners and staffs, we can see on the table presented the age, gender, educational attainment, years of business, as well as the years of working of the 8 respondents, where 4 of them are the 4 owners and 4 of them are the 4 staffs of the milk shops. On the second table, we can see now the second objective of the evaluation of current food manufacturing practices, hygienic practices of the milk tea shops in Ligao City. We can see on the table the summary of evaluation results as perceived by the owners. We can see that on the perception of the owners, they are outstandingly practicing all the practices and CGMP and hygienic practices in their shops. Also, on the second table, which is the summary of the evaluation results as perceived by the staffs, it is very similar to the results or to the perception of the owners, where they are outstandingly practicing all the practices of CGMP and hygienic practices in their shops. However, on the third table, which is the summary of evaluation results as perceived by the researchers, we can see that it is different from the perception of the owners and staffs, because on the perception of the researchers, the practices on CGMP and hygienic practices, milk tea shops are just in a cluster of excellent practice, good practice, and average practice, which means that there are still practices that are wrongly done. Researchers have seen some inconsistencies, and they should have more awareness on the cross contamination of the practices. Let's go now to the third objective of the study, which is the microbiological analysis of the milk samples from the shops. We can see on the table the results for the aerobic plate count and coliform count of the milk samples from shops A, B, C, and D, where they all failed or exceeded the standard limits based from the Food and Drug Administration for non-alcoholic beverages in coliform count and APC, where the standard of aerobic plate count according to FDA is equal or less than 10, and for coliform count is 1. For the fourth objective, which is the comparison of respondents and researchers' perception on CGMP and hygienic practices, we can see on the average weighted mean and qualitative interpretation that the perception of owners and staffs is again very similar, which is they are outstandingly practicing the practices, where for the perception of researchers, they are just in excellent practice and in good practice. They still need improvement, especially that they failed the microbiological analysis. For the fifth objective, which is to propose measures to improve food safety and hygienic practices in milk tea shops of Ligao City, the first recommendation is that LGU should have training programs or seminars for food establishments that shall be conducted to define appropriate training necessary for food handlers, for staffs, and owners to have knowledge about food handling techniques and food protection principles. And the second recommendation is that milk tea shops must require a copy or proof of microbial analysis for water and ice cream supplier so that they can be ensured that it is potable and safe for consumption. The conclusions. So based from the obtained findings, the following were concluded. First is that all milk tea shops are just operating not exceeding to 1 year in Ligao City. Business owners are all college graduates and are in early middle ages. Owners hire their staffs regardless of gender, age is above 18 years old, and educational attainment of at least high school graduate. Second conclusion is that shops are aware and complies with the CGMP and hygienic practices in categories of the CGMP and hygienic practices. Third is that there is a need of improvement to the sanitation practices and the water use of the milk tea shops in Ligao City because of the microbial loads of the samples that exceeded the standard limit of FDA. Cross-contamination, water in ice cubes may be the cause of the microbial loads of the sample. Fourth is that owners and staffs have different perception on CGMP and hygienic practices compared to the researchers. Researchers have seen inconsistency and improper practices that still need improvement to attain food safety. And the fifth is that the researchers recommended pointers to improve food safety and hygienic practices among milk tea shops in the City. For the recommendations, based on the findings and the conclusion of the study, the following recommendations are formulated to improve practices of the milk tea shops to minimize nor prevent microbial contamination of the milk tea product. First is to LGUs have to give training programs or seminars to food establishments so that they will be more aware on the food handling techniques and food protection principles, such as avoiding to contaminate foods upon the preparation. Also, they should be informed and have knowledge about cross-contamination and how does it happen. training programs for food handlers is a basic key to attain food safety. Second is to milk tea shops must require a copy or proof of microbial analysis for water and ice cube suppliers so that they would be ensured that it is potable and safe for consumption. And that ends my presentation. Thank you and good day.
Thank you so much to our presenter. We now proceed to the question and answer portion. Okay, let's have Sir Edison.
Hi, hi, Lucy. Hi, Joy.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Thank you so much for your presentation. I would like to say thank you and congratulations for your research. However, on the technical side or presentation side, I am just having some sort of issues regarding your slides. They are too text heavy. Some of them are in paragraph one. So if I were the audience, perhaps it's not really good to look at yung paragraph form na slides. And also, I will just have one question real quick because this area or this field is for the two other judges. As you know, Ma'am Marian, Dr. Marian is a food scientist and Miss Kat here is a hygienist. So they are more, I think, capable of asking some questions. My question really for this one is, can you hear me? I think there are many background noise. Ang tanong ko ay, Ms. Kat, correct me if I'm wrong, if they are looking into the hygienic part or aspect of a plant or a certain food food serving area, might as well be include SRUs as indicator of hygienic practices, right?
Yes.
I am looking for it dun sa, and because the title is hygienic something. So, and in food microbiology, one indicator would be SREs. And ano pa ba? And also, yun, hindi lang na-specify kung ano yung hygiene dun sa table. Is it washing, the proper washing of hands or wearing of PPEs like hairnets or aprons or changing clothes like they are not considering their street clothes when they prepare their food items and already. So this should be reflected in the paper since the paper is talking about hygienic practices. Now, some of the technical aspects I think will be asked by the two other members of the panel of judges. Thank you.
Okay, let's have Ma'am Kathleen.
Yes. Thank you so much, Honey Joy, for your presentation.
Yes, ma'am.
Can you hear me? Well.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Yeah. So sa akin kaya yun? Or hindi naman siguro. Anyway, so for the yes, this is actually related to my friend's question, Mr. Edison, Sir Edison a while ago. So since the study dealt with the hygienic or the GMP or the current good manufacturing practices of these milk tea shops. Actually, this study is very, very timely also because you know very well that Gen Z, these the generation now are very fond of drinking milk tea, and we know very well that the food safety is very it's a top priority. Yeah. So like what Sir Edison mentioned, since this study dealt with GMP, actually GMP has a lot of elements in it. So you like what he had mentioned. about what the sellers are wearing during preparation, and also on the antimicrobial side, I mean the test organisms should include Staphylococcus aureus or Staph epidermidis. If it should also be included because these are common skin contaminants. So you can, as a suggestion, you can for further studies, you can do that in your presentation. And another question would be, what did you were you able to know what detergent or cleaning solution are they using
We
in
didn't,
the
ma'am. We just, on the questionnaire po, tinalong lang namin if they are using bar soap or liquid soap. And they answered that they are using liquid soap.
liquid
Yun
soap?
po.
Yeah, so because
Yes,
it
ma'am.
really it matters also. In GMP, we also and in hygiene, we also are very particular with the environment, not just the personnel. The personnel or the humans preparing the food or the beverage is the number one source of contamination. That's why if you are doing a survey like this, it's more of a survey also like a study, social study, right? Because you ask for these people's demographic information. So you also ask them what are they wearing? Are they wearing hairnets during preparation? Do they wash their hands or something like that? Because personal is the number one source of contamination. Another would be the environment. I mean the room. I mean the space that they are using in preparing this particular these products. So that's why I'm asking if you were able to ask what detergent are they using, and these detergents have to be, if they have to seek uh, um, hygienic certificates from the local government unit. These detergents must also comply with if these detergents would, you know, comply with their claims, because several liquid detergents would claim that they are capable to remove about 99.9, whatever their claim is, they should be able to comply with these claims. And you can take a look at those, I mean, aspects for you to be able to have, a deeper perspective into the study. So those are just my, as a in the field of hygiene and GM. So thank you so much.
Okay, thank you very
Thank you,
much, Miss
ma'am.
Jen. Yes. So, for my questions naman, so when was this study conducted?
We started the study po around August, ma'am, for the gathering of data.
Of what year?
Yes, ma'am, 2021.
Okay, during the pandemic.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so how was the interview conducted?
We
Did
did
you
not,
do it physically? You went to the shop and interview, or you just sent out the materials to the respective owners?
physical, ma'am. We actually asked them if when can we observe. Kasi ma'am, meron po kami observational checklist or as an instrument. And they give us a date if kailan po. So, it's physical, ma'am.
So you were able to explain to them the different practices, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Before you conduct, before you ginawa yung observation, so you explain to them the different practices.
Yes, ma'am.
Tama ba? Naririnig ba ako? Parang you're having a problem hearing me.
Yes, ma'am. We actually explained to them that we are going to...
Okay, kasi that's the reason why I'm asking. Kasi there are, may mga, kahit ako, I cannot Seems may delay. Can you hear me now?
Ma'am, I'm sorry, nagkakaroon po ng problema.
The moderator can
Hello, Ma'am
Ma'am?
confirm if you can hear me is yung sa aking connection na may problem.
Yes, Ma'am Marian, we
Yes,
can
can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am, we can hear you, pero medyo delayed lang po and medyo nag-static ang end sa end.
Siguro ay will handle, and sorry for that. Gusto ko lang malaman, bilisan ko na lang. How will you correlate the results of your survey with the results ng inyong microbiological analysis?
Actually, ma'am, yung results po, nagkaroon po ng medyo kasi po, on the perception of the owners and staffs, is they are complying to the practices. However, the result po ng microbiological analysis, they failed. So, meaning po, hindi po, on their perception, which is outstanding practicing, hindi po siya aligned dun sa microbiological analysis, which is nag-fail nga po. So there is something wrong with the sanitary practices that they are following or practicing.
Have you discussed these results with the owners and the staff?
Not yet, ma'am, but we are planning to discuss it with them so that they can have an action for
Were you
this, ma'am.
able to discuss the results of your study?
Not yet, ma'am, but we are planning to discuss it to them so that they're gonna have an action for this,
So
ma'am.
would you think this is the results of yun lang gusto ko malaman because this can be part of a policy for the monitoring and regulation of milk tea shops, not only in your region but also in the country, because I am not aware if there is a PNS for milk tea. Meron na ba tayong standard for milk tea?
Yung standard po na yung sa standard po, ma'am, sa FDA, under po siya ng non-alcoholic beverages.
Okay. Sige. Salamat. Congratulations.
Thank you, ma'am.
Follow up lang. I think milk tea is milk and milk products. I think it falls under that category. So therefore, mas PHF siya or potentially hazardous food in food science. Meron tayong tinatawag na ganon, no? So check mo lang kung dun ba talaga siya magpo-fall. But I really, I'm not aware of these items. Pero, yun, recommendation ko lang. And, yeah, thank you. Thank you, Ma'am Marian, for your question.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much for the second presenter. We would like to apologize to some of our attendees. We cannot accommodate more questions due to time constraints. Okay, and so now we proceed to the